integrating Stims with the existing game was a little bit of a challenge. We basically decided to take an existing mechanism within the code base that was actually mostly dormant, which is called tokens. So tokens are these little pieces of information that you can attach to any army, and we can define rules about how they get attached and how they get removed, how long they stay there for, what happens when the army splits and merges, and so on and so forth. Initially, we use these tokens only for any units that, after they spawn, expire after a certain time. So you can think about your elite loitering munitions, or more recently the new drones of the elite drone operator. Those were relying on a token being on the army to survive, and then when the token's gone, the army's gone. And we leverage this for Stims. So in the case of Stims, these tokens are combat strength buffs that are attached to the army when the player decides to buy a Stim. And then they last for a certain duration of time, and then when they go, the Stim is over, and the Stim gives an effect of a combat strength buff. The thing is, with these effects, we can do all sorts of stuff. We've made the system very flexible, so I'm very excited to actually work more on Stims and on expanding the token system that we have in place. The biggest challenge, I think, working on Stims was making sure that the loitering munitions and the drones would still work even after the changes and the new features that we added to tokens. And this is kind of because of the way that con works, right? Like, you start a match in con and you're doing it for sometimes upwards of a month. And while that's happening, we want to respect the game's balance and the configuration of the match to be always what it was when you started the match, even if we release a patch, because we still want to be maintaining the game and adding new features during your match, right? But then the problem comes that sometimes we need to go into those old configurations that usually we really don't want to touch and update them, which we had to do for the loitering munitions and the drones when we started expanding the tokens feature and adding more features and maintaining and fixing all sorts of things. And that's always a really scary thing to do. Like, after every single token feature, we always would just go straight to QA and be like, okay, can someone check on the drones? Are they okay? I'm a little worried. So yeah, I would say that was definitely the hardest part. Touching old code is quite tough.
I would say it was quite a challenge to make sure that this feature is available on all our clients, desktop and mobile. As you might know, our desktop client is quite old, and it doesn't have all of these fancy features that we developers like on mobile, so we spent quite a lot of time making sure that feature parity in this case is met with quality.